Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We are so happy that you've chosen this YouTube channel, this Sabbath, this sanctuary in time. We know that you have so many options on Sunday morning, and that you chose to be here is something that we celebrate. We especially extend a warm welcome to our visitors and anyone who may be watching our service online for the first time. Please complete our Get in Touch online form by clicking the link below in your video description. We now invite everyone to greet each other in any way you possibly can. Elbows if you're here, and if you're joining us online, please say hi in the chat. And now we have a few more announcements. Oh, greet. Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry. All right. Wonderful greetings, thank you. All right, and now we have a few more announcements.
Good morning. Next week is our Welcome Back Sunday, and it is after that when all programming will resume, including Wednesday night choir and Wednesday night RE, as well as Sunday RE with the kids in the classrooms. Be sure to bring your water from home next week so that we can bring it together for the water communion. We are so excited to start another church year, and we cannot wait to see what emerges as an expression of our faith. There will also be special treats following the service if we're in COVID green, and we'll be having an involvement fair in Fellowship Hall so people can find out about opportunities for connection. I have just a few other announcements. I first wanted to say a special thank you to all who are our memorial volunteers. These are people who support the families during memorial services that we have here by making lovely spaces, setting out refreshments, opening the church, helping with the memory tables, and making sure people know where they're going. We had 2 services back-to-back yesterday, and we could not have done it without the support of these volunteers, so I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of all of us to all the volunteers who work so hard for the memorials. And lastly, you may have noticed that we have a piece of art here in the sanctuary today. This is a watercolor piece done by one of our very own friends of the church based on the Soul Matters monthly theme. This month, as you can see, it is belonging. We're excited to delve deeper into these monthly themes in our Soul Matters groups and in the classrooms and now in art as we wonder, what does it mean to be a people of belonging? Our opening words today come from an old labor organizing song titled Bread and Roses, which was first sung in 1912. Small art and love and beauty, their drudging spirits knew. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. Come, let us worship.
Please rise as you are willing and able as we sing Which Side Are You On? Which Side Are You On was written by Florence Reese, an American social activist, poet, and folk song writer. Sources say Reese originally wrote the song at the age of 12 while her father was out on strike with other coal miners. She updated it in 1931 during the Harlan County strike in Kentucky, organized by the United Mine Workers of America and the National Miners Union. Reese's husband was one of the organizers. Pete Seeger learned the song in 1940, and it has since been recorded by many. Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? 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 My daddy was a worker and I'm a worker's kin. I'll stick with fellow workers till we rise up and win. Which side are you on? 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 My mother is a worker and she feeds me her best. I'll stick with fellow workers, I'll get this off my chest. Which side are you on? 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 Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
As Harper Hetz comes forward to light our chalice, we invite you to join us as we recite our covenant. Let us affirm that love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another. Each month, we as a community take time to reflect on a theme. The children do this in their classes, and we do it here in worship and in our small groups. This month, the theme is belonging. Something I love about our faith, Unitarian Universalism, is it is a faith alive, a faith that strives to meet the moment of our time. In her book, Fluent in Faith, A Unitarian Universalist Embrace of Religious Language, Jean Harrison Newajar argues that UUs can and should reclaim the language of faith to build a new spiritual wholeness. I love that ours is a faith of belonging, rooted in the inherent worth of you and me, a faith of justice and beloved community. Reflecting on Labor Day, there are folks in our labor movement who have inspired this same faith in millions of us, creating a bold new awareness of our sacred dignity, the right of every person to work in safe conditions, to breathe clean air and drink clean water, to earn equal pay for equal work. Today, I want to talk about one of those leaders in history, Mary G. Harris Jones, who we remember and celebrate as Mother Jones. 120 years ago, in 1902, a West Virginia district attorney called Mother Jones the most dangerous woman in America. She organized some of the largest and boldest union actions in American history, and I especially want to talk about this. She was one of the first to organize women and children. Mother Jones saw women and children as people worth fighting for and empowered people like us to find faith in ourselves. At that time, more than half of children under age 16 were working 15 hours a day, often in very dangerous mills and factories. Most people truly believed that school was a luxury for the wealthy few, not a right for all. But Mother Jones had faith. With support from Mother Jones, child workers, children and young people who worked in mills and factories, organized an historic and famous labor action, the March of the Mill Children, where more than 1,000 children together walked over 100 miles to demand child labor laws and the fundamental right to an education. Because those children found faith in themselves and because they boldly lived out that faith out loud, they changed the course of history. They built a legacy that we all benefit from today. This Labor Day, as we reflect on Mother Jones and the people around her who took action, I think of how amazing our faith can be. A faith in our own self-worth is a faith so powerful that it can change the world. Imagine if you want the right to an education and equal pay for equal work, that makes you the most dangerous person in America. It begs the question, dangerous for who? And it challenges us to dig deeper. How can we live our faith boldly to meet the new moments of our time? My fellow UUs, I think I know whose side you're on, and I'm here to stand with you.
Could I please have all the children and youth come forward? Come on. Look, everybody, it's me, Celie. It's me, I'm back. I had to quarantine in the ocean. Hi, what's your name? Cordelia. I heard you're a good sewer. Hi, everybody. Hi, Evan. Hi, Cleo. What's your guys' favorite foods? Anybody have a favorite food? Ari, what's your favorite food? Strawberries. Oh, yum. Guess what my favorite food is? Guess.
Seaweed?
Oh, I love seaweed. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Yeah, well, you probably haven't lived under the ocean before. Any other ideas? Hi. Well, I'll tell you, my favorite food is sea urchins. Yeah, oh, they're so good. They're so crunchy. They're all slimy inside. Hey, who are you?
My name is Neil, and I am the director CEO, founder, and head honcho of Neil Enterprises. I am on a walk, reflecting on what business I should start next, and how I can make the most money while doing the least amount of work.
Oh.
I was thinking about starting a fishing company since I live in a big mansion next to the ocean.
You should start a sea urchin fishing company. I love sea urchins so much, and so do so many other animals like otters and birds and starfish.
I could make so much money. Look at all these children. Would you all like to work for me and catch sea urchins? Here's what I want you to do. There are purple sea urchins all over the ocean floor.
Yeah, go get those sea
urchins
urchins
as many
for
of them as
me.
you can and bring them to me.
Go get the sea
Any questions?
urchins.
Get the sea urchins.
Get
Work,
the sea
work.
urchins.
Faster.
Yay.
Faster.
Yay.
Faster.
Wait,
More
what?
sea urchins, more money.
Wait,
Faster.
Mr. Neal.
Faster.
Wait, kids, I think Mr. Neal tricked us. Oh, I'll eat that. Can I have that?
What is going on? Why did you tell them to stop?
Well,
I'm losing my money.
Because I noticed that you were making the children work on the ocean floor. And that didn't seem safe. They could be attacked by a killer whale.
You are totally wrong. Children should and can work.
What? Children shouldn't be working. This is dangerous. And the sea urchin population is going to decrease. Yummy.
What is going on here?
Well, Mr. Neal here hired all these poor innocent children to work for. Some of them looked like they didn't want to do it, but they did.
Celia's right. You can't hire children for your fishing company.
What are you talking about?
There are child labor laws that
Oh.
speak against this. About 100 years ago, there were children working in the factories and mines, and people like Mother Jones protested to stop this. You are in violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938 that says no children under 16 should be working. You must stop this immediately.
Yeah.
You're right. Maybe I should stop capitalizing on children and seals and things that don't belong to me. Maybe I can create something instead. I have an idea. Catch you later.
Whoa, that was a close one.
Thank you, Celie, for speaking up for the children.
Thanks for standing up for us, Dr. Lacey.
Yeah, no human being should have to work a dangerous job, and we should honor the earth as well with our work. Thank you again for stopping this practice.
Was there anything you guys felt about Mr. Neal? Did you guys, anything you agree with about Neal the boss, or anything you disagree with about Neal the boss? He was kind of aggressive, right? Yeah, he's bad. Yeah, you saw right through that. You may be young, but you have that intuition.
All right, thank you so much. Please join me in singing the children out to their classes.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
This is the time in our service that we set aside to draw to heart and mind those in our midst who are suffering and those who feel the sweet relief of their burdens easing. I invite you to put your feet flat on the floor, your hands in your lap, take a deep breath. Today we think of those who are suffering under the effects of environmental change. We think of the people of Pakistan, drawing to heart and mind the people of Jacksonville, Mississippi, people in China, in Europe, and in the American West. We express our gratitude to the media for covering what we know has been occurring globally for many decades. And we hope for a swift resurgence in the global leadership towards restoring healthy relationships between humans and the land. We give our love to those untangling themselves from relationships that no longer serve them. We grieve for the loss of energy and time that chronic illness takes on the body. And our hearts go out to all who are struggling to make ends meet, especially as winter approaches. We extend our gratitude to those who make caring for children their primary spiritual practice. And we join in wonder with all people who are bravely facing their final days. And as always, we rejoice over the exquisite beauty in this world, as small or life-changing as each piece of beauty might be. And now I invite you to come forward and briefly share in 2 to 3 sentences a rare joy or a profound sorrow and light a candle.
I'm Jennifer Nelson. I'm lighting a candle of sorrow today. My godfather, Jimmy O'Neill, died unexpectedly on Monday, so I'm sending love and comfort to his family.
I'm Melissa Malozzi, and I am lighting a candle of joy because last week on Wednesday I found out that I'm in remission, and I'll be starting maintenance treatment this Friday.
Yay. Congratulations.
My name is Kira, and I'm lighting a candle for some friends of mine that passed away in July. We're thinking of them.
I'm Sarah Banner, and I have a candle of joy and frustration. 2 weeks ago, I did something to my back, yet to be determined, and although it's mostly better, it's frustrating because I can't train the way I want to train, and I don't sit still very well.
Hi, my name is Virginia, and I just have a small candle of joy because after a couple of weeks of logistic nightmares, Josh and I finally made it back to SMUUCh. Yay.
I'm Lynn, and this is my wife, Kristen. I'm lighting a candle for her extended family. We'll be traveling to Michigan for services for her parents that passed during COVID.
I light the remaining candles for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. I invite you once again to join me with your feet flat on the floor, closing your eyes. Taking a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. We'll just take a second to become more aware. To To begin, I invite you to notice a sound that you hear. And then drawing your attention inward, I invite you to notice the sensation of your own breathing. As you breathe in, you can imagine that your belly is like a balloon filling with water. And as you breathe out, you can envision a spout coming out of your heart. We'll just do this for a few minutes, taking slow, measured, healthy breaths. As you sit peacefully, I invite you to begin to imagine the balance of your body. As we come to talk about work and labor, of course, we must think of balance. I invite you to become curious. Is your body balanced left to right, for example? Just notice the way you're sitting. Are you balanced front to back? Do you feel balanced in terms of lift and gravity? See if you can breathe into your belly as the very center of it all. Reclaiming your life force, expressing a gratitude for this moment, for your body, for this clean air. Now I invite you to draw your attention to something in your heart that you feel is out of balance. Is it something you're doing too much to? Is it something you need to add more weight to? And as a grounding exercise, just continue breathing into your belly, creating an embodied grounding, a balance. Letting the corners of your lips turn up. Imagine for yourself what a balanced community is like, how it feels to come into a space that is balanced. How welcoming it is, how relieving it is, that many things can happen. Many things can coexist. Let us remember that we are like the breathing center of this church. Us and so many other people whose lives we touch, whose lives you touch. The reason that we gather here is to find balance around human dignity, to live our values, to encourage ourselves towards self-care and away from self-destruction. and to bring peace and joy, love and healing into this broken world. Wendell Berry says, "When despair for the world grows in me, I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be. I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free." You may remain seated for a meditative hymn. You may keep your eyes closed if you know it, but just all of us remain peaceful as we sing. Our reading today comes from Marge Piercy. She says, "I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who stand in the line and haul in their place, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm with the food. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean, and evident. Greek amorphous for wine and oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real." And now I'm very happy to introduce to you our guest speaker today. He comes from the Prairie Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Hutchinson on this Labor Day weekend, and his name is Scott Potucek. You'll hear more about him from himself.
Thank you. Good morning. It's all good to see everybody here. We'll start off with a slide I think there's a lot of meaning in that picture. Aesop's fable talked about the first time looking back at this Styx, he had 3 sons that he recognized each of them had strengths and weaknesses, but if they put their gifts together, they were stronger than if they stood singularly. And when you look at the Styx, you can think of the Union took that up. You know, they felt they were so much stronger together than they were just working by themselves. And as a result, those 3 sons achieved great things, and unions and labor achieved some great things too. And if we look at the next slide, you can see that they developed some rights. And these rights exist for every worker in America, whether you're a member of a union or not. The right to get paid properly, the right to a safe and healthy workplace, the right of protection against discrimination, the right to be treated fairly as a veteran or member, a right not to be retaliated against for exercising your rights, and the right to join with coworkers. Again, belonging, joining together, they created some wonderful rights. But it wasn't easy, and if we think about where they came from, Grover Cleveland was president, and the first Labor Day celebrated September 5th, 1882, had more than 4 times as many people go to the New York parade as a modern day Macy parade. It was a party. They had fun to not have to go to work. And work was such a huge thing, you know, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, nothing. They didn't have those rights. They didn't have hardly anything. Mother Jones came along later. I mean, 1882, what we heard from her was in the 1910s, 1920s. But look at the next slide. As things move forward, Martin Luther King said, "The arc of moral universe is long, but it does bend towards justice." And he is right. It has bent towards improved labor justice, but slow and with difficulties. I mean, 1882, 1910, 1920. If we could look at the next slide, that little boy's barefoot working on hot machinery. Nothing. No comp, no safety gear, no PPE. And it's interesting because women's suffrage only occurred 2 years before that, before 1922, when they approved the first law to try to address child labor. And it was only ratified by 6 states. Kansas was not one of them. We did not vote to eliminate child labor. Only 6 of the states in the Union did. So it was a struggle to think about children being put to work to support the family. But then it kept on moving. If we look at the next slide, it was mentioned earlier that Congress passed the Fair Standard Labor Act, which addressed child labor, which was wonderful, but it also addressed the 40-hour work week. Having a balance of work and life is such an important thing, and people didn't have it. And it's today some people might be taking it for granted because it wasn't easy to get there. It certainly wasn't. And if we look at the next slide, I like Captain America. Captain America has been around. I read those comics when I was a kid, but I recognize that it was created in 1941 during World War II. And the Union picked him up too and tried to talk about some of the things that they had accomplished that were even more so. Safer working conditions, some safety regulations came into place, no toxic dumping, no child labor abuses, standard minimum wage, the 40-hour work week, overtime pay, paid vacation, pensions, health care, and equal work for equal pay, or equal pay for equal work. I think that's right. Anyway, those were not easy. And there are workplaces that are unionized that have benefits that didn't fit to those rights that I mentioned in that second slide. They have a better quality of potential life, and that's what it's for. It's family. It's work. Keeping a work-life balance, but belonging to the community to be able to contribute. All those things kind of intermix. But at that time, things were really thought about different philosophically. There was a movement towards humanity. And then the next slide, you've got to be so proud of Eleanor Roosevelt. And if you've never read it, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that she put together in 1945 to address the atrocities that had happened through World War II and across the world, that was adopted by the United Nations, talks about humanity and how important each and every one of us are. And the union's strength was getting powerful about that time. They negotiated some really strong contracts, even requesting that businesses have to do different things. And that was the first time that the labor movement actually told businesses how to do things, and it changed. So if we look at the next slide, June 23rd, 1947, yin and yang came into play. There was a yin of workers' rights, and there was a yang of business interests. And business interests passed the laws that drastically curtailed the union movement in America. And, it changed things. It didn't eliminate things, but it slowed down some of the progression of workers' rights. But it didn't stop it. And I think on the next slide, I like this fish. This fish has a lot of meaning to me, but, sometimes in belonging. If we were fish in the ocean, sometimes we swim alone, and sometimes we swim in schools. And when we're swimming in schools, we're bigger, we can get more things done. But it also, the Seattle fish market had some philosophies that I thought were really cool. And we've talked about them in the workplace and at home, but there's 4 simple things that can make life better. And it was part of labor in a lot of ways. One of them is you have to be present. We have to be there. When we're on the job or we're at home and we're working with somebody and we're with them, it's a gift. And being present at the time it's what creates that togetherness, not just your brain somewhere else and you don't pay attention to the person that you're with. You're there. You're present. It's so good. The other one is if I can make your day better somehow, there's a word called reciprocity, and somehow my day goes better. And if you think about that in the workplace or you think about it at home, if I'm doing something nice and trying to make your day better, somehow my day's better. And if everybody's doing that, that's a wonderful thing. And that's part of that fish philosophy. Another one is, every single day you wake up, we have an attitude, and we can choose it. And that's hard sometimes. Life, it didn't come with a bow on it sometimes, and it can be tough. But life is still a gift, and every day is a gift. And if we recognize that, it's just a cool thing. And the last thing about the fish philosophy is you got to have fun. Play. We play even when we're kids, and we play when we get to be adults. And if you can enjoy being with people and smile and laugh and tell jokes, and I'm not going to tell any dad jokes. They're not that good anyway. But anyway, I think the fish represents some things that are important for humanity and being part of a community and belonging. The next slide I like too. And if you can read this, thank you, teacher. Now, there's something about this slide that I think is really important, because they're not striking for them, which is typical of a lot of labor movements. They rarely strike for more pay. That's not the issue. And that's not the issue with them right now. They want smaller classrooms so they can do a better job with the kids that they have. They're striking because they might want art and physical education to be included in the curriculum. They might be striking because they want air conditioning and they want the plumbing fixed. There's a lot of times a labor is striking because of unsafe conditions or something that's beyond simply the paycheck. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Fairness, justice, those are important words in this Labor Day weekend. Anyway, if we look at the next slide, belonging is the you soul matter theme. Taken as a union metaphor, a single stick is easily broken, but a bundle of sticks is hard to break. The right bundle to belong to is one that seeks justice, fairness, values dignity of every person while balancing work and life. Not 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's going home after 40 hours and enjoying your kids and your family. Balance. And if we look at the next slide, it's that bundle. It's belonging. Every single, which side do you belong? Which side, do you belong to that bundle that matters the most for community and helping others and making people's day better, making our environment better? All those things kind of fit together. Anyway, the last slide is fun. For me, that's me, and my daughter, Rachel. Daughter Rebecca's not here, and other family, but that was taken, if you can't really see it, but that was taken in December, and that thermometer in the back is 100 degrees. The guys in the paper mill, those were steam-filled dryers, and I was so fortunate in my working career. I was a union president, every single position, steward, treasurer, secretary, got to negotiate several contracts, and they're good people. They just want to go to work and earn a living and go home and enjoy the family. There's a lot of nuances to this whole story here, and but it was family being able to come to the workplace and walk around with me and take some pictures and see all that. That was just really cool. It really is, because life is more than just work. But labor does produce things that we all need and have to have. But we also need to have that love and friendship and time to enjoy the beautiful art and other things of life. It's all connected. Anyway, I kind of zipped through that, but I'm honored to be able to come and talk and be with my daughter and family, and thank you so much for having me.
The work of the church depends on us, our generosity of time, wisdom, and financial resources. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of the church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, or the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us in our hearts until we are together again.
Please rise as you are willing and able for our closing hymn. We Shall Not Give Up the Fight features a traditional African melody. Its sentiments are borrowed from the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa, with verses written to reflect current issues. It is a call to action to correct wrongs that must be righted. We shall not give up the fight, we have only started. We have only started. We have only started. We shall not give up the fight, we have only started. We have only started. We have only started. Refugees are welcome here, let's be open-hearted. Let's be open-hearted. Let's be open-hearted. Refugees are welcome here, let's be open-hearted. Let's be open-hearted. Let's be open-hearted. Immigrants are welcome here, let's be open-hearted. Let's be open-hearted. Let's be open-hearted. Immigrants are welcome here, let's be open-hearted. Let's be open-hearted. Let's be open-hearted. Dreamers, you are welcome here, you have been invited. You have been invited. You have been invited. Dreamers, you are welcome here, you have been invited. You have been invited. You have been invited. Workers will have balanced life, let us take a stand. Let us take a stand. Let us take a stand. Workers will have balanced life, let us take a stand. Let us take a stand. Let us take a stand. We will not give up the fight, we have only started. We have only started. We have only started. We will not give up the fight, we have only started. We have only started. We have only started.
This week, I invite you to pay attention to your balance, and when you notice yourself getting off balance, coming back to your breath. Go in peace.